Many companies have some system of setting quarterly objectives. They might call them quarterly rocks or goals. They might use the popular OKR system. But today I'm not going to talk about the system that people use to run and plan and execute on those initiatives, but rather the system that they use for actually choosing them. Because often this can be chaotic, disorganized, and not produce the best results. Frequently, what the leadership team will do is they will come together, they will use maybe a number of different planning methods in order to think about what they've been doing over the last quarter, and then they'll start to formulate what they should focus on this quarter. But how do they choose? How do they choose amongst competing priorities? Quite often, when I've done this in leadership teams, and it can be quite disorganized, we'll get teams to start to put down on post-it notes what it is that they think the company should focus on. And already the post-it note format draws you into a small trap, which is that there's only so much that you can fit onto a post-it note. And the second issue is how do you then choose between competing post-it notes? And what a team here is doing is they're putting their ideas, they're putting them up on a board, and they're simply saying, this is my idea. And then everyone else will race to put on the board, or on the window in this instance, their idea. And we'll see if those sort of align. And if we've got a popularity contest going here, what we end up with is something that looks like this, where simply what we will end up choosing is the column that has the highest instance, the highest occurrence of a single idea, and that's how we choose. We know that we've got limited time. If we've got 10 different ideas, then certainly those ideas that have simply one or two post-it notes in a column, that's not going to win out, and what we go with is the most popular idea. But the problem here is that at that stage, we've not really dug into what it is that we want to achieve. Often we'll have leaders simply putting down on a post-it note just the title of an idea, just one or two points about it. We might encourage people to try to represent it as a SMART goal so that we've thought out a bit more specifically about what it is that we can achieve in a quarter, what the results are going to be. But there's a critical trap here. What we've not looked at, for one thing, is what the problem is that we are solving for, but we're also not really considering the impact that working on this initiative over any other is going to have on the business. And that could be both a positive impact or preventing us from having a negative impact on the business. And we're also not thinking here about how difficult it's going to be to actually execute on that idea. So what I like to do with leadership teams is draw a simple two-axis chart on the board, on a whiteboard or on a wall. And here you can see what we've done is we've put on the vertical axis difficulty. Now, difficulty here could mean a number of things. It could mean how much effort it's going to consume in order to execute on this, what the resources are going to be, how long it's going to take, how many people are going to be involved. So we need to think about our resources. Any shift in priorities in a business is going to take a shift in resources. So we want to consider that first of all. And then on the horizontal axis, what we have here is the impact. And what I will force a leadership team to do is to first of all work on their ideas, not in terms of the outcome, but also in terms of the problem that they're solving for and specifically what their solution is, because we clearly want to know not only what we're solving for, but how we are going to solve that, but also measure the impact as well. And I will force people to rank this in a way that we can't have any two post-it notes on the same horizontal or vertical, so that we've got a clear view of how we're looking at our initiatives for the quarter and where we should focus our efforts. Not always, but what I've done in this particular picture as an example is I've put up three post-it notes on the far left here with the different colors indicating what we want to focus on in Q1, Q2, and perhaps the second half of the year. So this is planning out initiatives for an entire year. You don't necessarily need the different colors if you're planning it out for a quarter. And then we're inviting people to put over a map where their initiatives lie, and they'll start to have very interesting conversations about, no, I think that's easier than that. No, if we look into it, it's actually a lot harder. And particularly the question about what the impact is on the business will help guide leadership teams to focus on initiatives that are going to have the greatest impact on the business. It's very important when choosing initiatives that we select work that has the greatest impact on the business. That could be positive impact on profit. It could be impact on value for customers. It could be saving us from some issue that might occur in the business if we don't solve something today. So think about how you choose your initiatives. It's not just about popularity. Even before we get to the planning stage, we want to think about what it is we're prioritizing. It's the number one skill of leadership teams, is the ability to effectively prioritize.